One of the most attractive traits that you can have is a warm, infectious smile. This is something that a lot of people try to achieve, but most of them end up having these clearly fake, unattractive smiles, which kind of just turn people off and, in a way, repulse them. My name is Ogyan, and I've dedicated the last 4 years of my life to improving my social skills and building the social life of my dreams. So, in this video, I've created a full autistic level full guide on achieving just that perfect, authentic, warm smile. Let me ask you a simple question. Why do we like dogs? When you think of dogs, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Happiness, good vibes, energy. Every time you see your dog, how do they greet you? They greet you with all of this positive energy. They're wagging their tail, they're jumping around, they're probably barking. They embody this happy, cheerful energy. This is something that we can replicate by just having a good, authentic smile. What you have to realize is that your face is kind of like your business card. Especially when you're meeting new people, the first thing that they judge you based on is your face. Of course, there's other factors like how attractive you are and everything, how facially attractive you are. But probably the biggest thing that people instantly notice on you when you're meeting them is what expression you have on your face. So just having a smile, you can imagine, and knowing how to have a great smile is kind of like having a 10 out of 10 super attractive business card. So the moment you meet someone, they instantly get this positive image of you. Now, rule number one when it comes to smiling, and probably the most important one, and the reason that so many people have these fake looking smiles, is never force a smile. People can tell when you're trying to force a smile, when you're using the muscles of your face to smile. This is the way that people get these uncanny looking, unattractive, fake smiles. What you want to do, and the actual practical way that you get a smile going, is by just thinking of a happy thought. Let me explain. Your body reacts to your mind, and vice versa. This is why when, let's say, you're watching a horror movie, and your mind you start getting scared, your palms might start sweating, you might start shaking. This is your body reacting to your mind. When you think of something happy, and when you literally just decide, I'm gonna be happy, your body instantly starts reacting to your mind. And the smile comes naturally. Here's the craziest part. It's even simpler than this. You don't even have to think of a happy thought to become happy. You can literally just choose to be happy. You can make the decision right now, do it right now. Literally just make the decision to be happy. And you will notice instantly you're feeling a lot more cheerful, your body instantly kind of opens up, you probably get a smile going because you chose to be happy. It's literally as simple as that. Now, a bit more of a kind of in-depth way to do this, which might even be more effective, is to just think, as I previously said, of a happy thought. What I mean by this is think of some victory that you maybe had in the past. Think of some nice thing that's happened to you. Maybe think of a joke that some friend said a few days ago that made you laugh. Think of a funny situation. Think of something, just a genuine happy memory, or even it can be something, you can imagine something happy. Let's say you like supercars, right? I love supercars. Imagine yourself having owning a Lambo full on. Imagine, you can see I'm already getting a smile. Imagine you driving a Lambo. You just bought your own Lambo for the first time. Maybe you bought your dad a McLaren or a fucking Ferrari. You will instantly notice just by imagining these happy thoughts or kind of reliving these happy memories, you get a smile going. And instantly your body language changes to this more open, happier version of yourself. This is the essence of having a better, infectious, authentic smile, but also having better body language. This also ties into you having better body language. If you've all ever seen, you've probably seen videos where on body language and then the guy goes and it tells you okay, this is how you need to sit and this is what you need to do and this is how you need to carry yourself and everything. These are all nice things, of course, and they can all be very useful, but at the end of the day, at the core of everything is this thing right here, the way that you think. If your thoughts are negative, if right now you're pretty depressed, maybe something shitty happened to you a few days ago, your mind is in the gutter, you're constantly thinking about something negative, your face is gonna kind of have a frown, you're gonna be walking hunched over, you're not gonna be social, you're not gonna be feeling like talking to anyone, and you're just gonna feel like locking yourself in your dark room and scrolling on TikTok all day to kind of distract yourself. The exact opposite is also true. If you're constantly thinking about good, happy things, like imagining or reliving happy memories, imagining nice scenarios of you achieving big goals or just living your dream life, you will instantly notice you become way happier and your body starts to reflect that. You get a nice smile going, your posture improves, you start making eye contact with people, with strangers on the street, you start wanting to actually go and speak to people. Everything just improves, right? All of the things improve when you improve the foundation. The foundation being your mind. And the best way to do that, as I said, is to just switch your mindset, switch your way of thinking from your usual, the usual way that people think is we think usually about negative things. We probably remind ourselves of our failures a lot. And generally, we kind of just spiral into this negative loop, which ends up making us depressed. You want to switch that up by just doing this one simple exercise. Every time that you notice yourself becoming or starting to think in a negative way, every time that you start kind of getting negative thoughts or you start getting reliving some negative memory, snap out of it and instantly think of something positive. So let's say you're thinking about that time when you cold approached that girl in school and then she rejected you and everyone laughed. Instantly you notice yourself thinking or reliving this negative memory and instantly snap into a positive memory. Maybe that memory of the time that you were playing that soccer game and then you scored the winning goal and everyone, praised you and then they threw a party, or that one time when you, let's say, cold approached that other girl and it went great and you got her Instagram and you went on a date together. Or maybe that time when you were, competing and you won, or whatever it may be. Instantly just snap back to a happy memory and your mood will instantly start shifting. What this will do is it will teach your mind to, instead of constantly reliving negative memories, which is what you trained your mind up to do up to this point, you train it up to just keep reliving positive memories. So when you kind of go into that AFK mode and your mind kind of starts wandering and whatever, it doesn't wander off to some negative thoughts. It wanders off to some positive thoughts, which then end up just making you feel better, making you feel more cheerful, making you more positive, and generally just improves your life. Because again, this is all, none of this, if you've been, believing that this is like genetic and that you're constantly depressed because, it's your brain is fucked up. No, it's literally just you've trained up your mind to think of negative thoughts. Because of the fact that you think of negative thoughts constantly, they make you feel sad. Your body reacts to your mind, so you kind of are hunched over, you're laying in your bed, you don't feel like doing anything, and it's this negative feedback loop because your mind also reacts to your body. So if you're walking around like that, in that kind of closed off body language, your mind reacts to that, then your body reacts to your mind, it's this negative loop which just makes you more and more depressed. By just starting kind of forcing your mind to think of positive thoughts, now you start thinking way more positively, you start thinking in a way better way, and just your body language, your mindset, you just start feeling better and more cheerful and way less depressed. You basically stop being like, if up to that point you were feeling kind of depressed, you were feeling kind of bad, just by doing this you will instantly feel way better and way happier just on a day-to-day basis. So here are a few extra bonus tips when it comes to smiling. So we've identified how you can smile, how you can improve your body language by kind of using your mind to get the nice authentic smile, to get nicer, more open body language, and to really get into that social mood to talk to people. Now here are some do's and don'ts. Generally keep this in mind. When you're kind of coming into a conversation with another person, you should use this tactic to give yourself a smile. So let's say you see your friend in the distance or a stranger and you're about to approach them. When you get close, you think of something happy, you get the smile going, and then you start talking to the person. Once you do that, you will notice in most cases that your smile kind of starts fading away. A very important thing is that you do not keep forcing your smile. Again, don't force anything. Once you get into the conversation, you should realize that in 99% of cases, your smile is going to fade and your face is going to go back to kind of being your relaxed, natural, expression when the muscles in your face are relaxed. This is not a bad thing. This is how everyone is during the conversation. Once you start the conversation, a good tip is to try to use the conversation itself to get a smile going. Maybe try talking about some more positive topics. Maybe try cracking some nice jokes. Maybe try kind of laughing at things which maybe aren't even that funny, but you laugh in order to, again, get yourself in a better mood. Maybe your friend kind of cracks a joke that's not really very funny. You still kind of laugh at it and kind of bring out this positive energy because, again, it just makes the whole conversation way nicer. Another very important thing as well to kind of remember is a lot of the time, as I said, you're not going to be smiling throughout the conversation. Because if you, let's say you meet your friend, right, you do the technique, you smiled, and you start talking, and your friend talks about how their pet just died a few days ago, naturally, you're not going to fucking smile during that conversation. But one good thing to remember is, of course, the start of the conversation is very important to smile, but it's also very nice to smile at the end of the conversation. So let's say you just had the convo, whatever, and then you tell your friend, hey bro, I'll see you later. That's when, again, you use the technique and then you get another really nice smile going so that when you're leaving, the last memory that that person has of you from that conversation is a positive one. It's the memory of you kind of having this big smile, being cheered up, being like, what, I'll see you later, bro, we'll talk to you later. Again, that just improves their perception of you. Makes them feel like you're way more of kind of this positive, nice person to be around. And because you stuck to the end of the video, I'm going to give you an extra bonus tip. This is something that helps you to kind of navigate the situation and be able to tell if the other person actually wants to talk to you or if they're kind of trying to get out of the conversation, right? Once you get enough social intelligence, you get enough experience with talking to people, you're kind of going to be able to tell this naturally by looking at the mannerisms. But one very quick life hack that you can literally just start doing right now is pay attention to their feet. As weird as it sounds, if you're talking to a person and they're standing, let's say you're standing right in front of me. If you notice that my feet are facing like this, like straight towards you, that means that in 99% of cases, I'm very interested in you. I want to speak with you, and I want to speak with you, right? If you notice that my feet are facing like this way or this way, right? I'm kind of speaking to you, but I'm kind of facing, my feet are kind of facing this way. That kind of means like I don't really want to speak to you. I'm trying to get somewhere. And once you notice that, generally, again, probably not in 100% cases, but solid 99.9% of cases, the other person doesn't really want to speak to you, and you should kind of try getting out of the conversation. Maybe you start speaking to them, you notice their feet are kind of facing outwards, you literally just be like, you notice that, and then you're like, okay, nice talking to you, I'll see you around, right? And if you notice that one foot is like towards you and one foot is like away, this is kind of 50-50. At that point, anything could happen. If they switch their feet, depending on how you speak and your skills and everything, they'll either face you to speak to you more, or they'll face away to try to get away. So this is just another tip as well that you can pay attention to. The kind of the positioning of their feet, like, just helps generally for you to realize as well in like group conversations who is really paying attention to and who doesn't really care. So that's just another nice little life hack that I wanted to give you. So now to give you the action steps. This is probably the most important part of the video, because if you don't end up taking action on anything that I said, this was as useful to you as watching a Mr. Beast video. Alright? Meaning you just wasted your time unless you go and you use this information. This I want you to do it. Right now, stop the video, go to a family member, because I'm guessing you either don't live alone, you live with your family, or maybe a few roommates. Go to whoever you live with and try this technique right now. Make yourself happy, get the smile going, and go speak to your mom, speak to your roommate, speak to your sibling, and just try it right now. And later on, or tomorrow when you go to school or work or wherever, just keep it in mind, and whenever you're about to interact with any person, get the smile going. Use the technique to get a smile, and you will just notice that everyone kind of treats you in a very different way, and that it's a way more kind of positive environment. Now, knowing how to get a nice, warm, infectious smile is very nice, but it kind of becomes useless unless you have a lot of people who you can use it on. And one of the best ways to get a ton of people to kind of try that smile on is to learn to cold approach. Now, this is something that's pretty difficult, and it takes a lot of explaining, and it's kind of hard to get into. So that's why I made this entire guide, this video on teaching you exactly how to cold approach and how to kind of get into that entire space. If you found this video helpful, you can click on the subscribe button to find some more videos. You can also join my free community by clicking on the first link in the description, where you will find other like-minded guys who are also improving their social skills. You can also hop on a free call with me, and we can have a chat. I can try helping you out if you have some problems. Click on the subscribe button and do the work.